Cheerio! Kyungye! Hi everybody, welcome to this week's Taekwondo Thursday video. This week I got a request to do a video on strengthening the wrists. This request came about because, like many other Taekwondo schools, we do press-ups on our knuckles. Let's talk about why we do this and how you can develop that process. The reason we do press-ups on our knuckles is to strengthen the part of the kinetic chain running from the fist right through to the shoulder joint. When everything is in alignment properly, this is the strongest position in which we can punch. And General Choi was a genius in his own way. He knew that by punching with our first two knuckles, the forefist, that this puts everything into alignment. So when we go into a press-up position on our knuckles, we want the forefist to be on the floor, but not the outermost two knuckles. Now, what happens sometimes when students do this and they've quite weak wrists is they can end up in a laterally flexed wrist position like this, which puts a lot of strain here on the lateral part of the wrist. We don't want this. We want to keep it in a completely straight line. So let's look at simplifying the press up first of all, and then we will move on to some auxiliary exercises that you can do, some supplements if you like, that can help the wrists if you really do have weak wrists. Eventually you want to be able to do press-ups like this. Completely straight body, like a regular press-up, but on your fists. And you want to be able to bend those elbows while maintaining your core and maintaining wrist position. Now, for different reasons, you might want to change the position. That's fine. You might rotate it 90 degrees, but you're still on the forefist. You might want to rotate it 45 degrees. That's fine, as long as you're still on the forefist. Right now we're not talking about how to do entire press-ups properly. I've got a video about that on the online hub. You can check that out if you want to find out more. Today we're just concerning ourselves with the wrist part. Now, if you are having trouble maintaining the load, so even without doing the press-up, just getting to that position, you're having trouble with that load on your wrists, you can drop the knees down like this. This just takes some of the load off and it allows you to develop the exercise and develop the strength in your wrists, and of course all the way up without putting too much pressure, and it allows you to build from there. If even with the knees going from here to straight down is not easy enough, bring them forward a little bit more, bring in the arms and just work on that much. You have to do your press ups separately. But do remember that even when you're on your palms, that is not an extremely strong position for the wrist because you're at 90 degree flexion. So that's why this is ideal, but you can of course develop the strength and the power in your upper body with the palms down. This is for really being able to take the force of a punch all the way through your kinetic chain. Alright, so just that you understand the difference. When we do an exercise, we want to do what it says in the tin. We want to get a very specific result from it. So simplifying this and making this easier is purely to allow you to get used to taking the weight on your fists, not for strengthening your press-ups. There's a better way to strengthen your regular press-ups than doing this variation. It's called incline press-ups. And as I said, there's another video about that on the online hub. Check it out. This video is not about that. All right. So let's look at some supplementary exercises that we could do to actually help strengthen your wrists. Using a light dumbbell is a great way of strengthening your wrist. So from here, we're going to do it in two positions. So my palm is supinated. It's facing up, holding my dumbbell, and I'm flexing like this, up and down. I'm resting my arm on my knee because I want to isolate the wrist. I'm not looking to work my elbow, my biceps. And of course, by working on this, you're also developing the muscles in your forearm. When you're developing both arms, you just switch, go to the other knee, and repeat. Now, we can also pronate the forearm. And this is also very important. So you're raising it up and down, but with the palm facing downward, like this. It's also a good idea to work laterally. You won't have as much range of motion, but you can do it, and you will fatigue quicker, but it's a good idea to do it. Little and often is the key. Let's look at another option. A lot of times students have trouble clenching the fists tight enough to hold the weight in the press-up position. So having a ball and squeezing it can work on your hand, and also of course you're still working muscles in the forearm. So something like a Pilates ball or a massage ball that I have here, you can squeeze this to develop that endurance and strength in your gripping. Like that. And again, remember to do both arms. It's very, very, very important. Last thing to leave you with is to work on the mobility of your wrists. So if they're really, really tight, that's no good either. So you need a balance between strength, stability in those wrists, and you also need to have mobility in them. So working your flexion and your extension here, pushing your palms into the ground, pushing, rocking back, doing both sides, knuckles in. Your elbows should be fully straight. Careful not to put too much pressure on. Less is more. Go gently. And then of course you can work laterally as well on the fist. Very little weight, I'm just working the mobility. They're very good exercises to do. Here's another one. Fingers facing outward, palms are flat, and you can rock from side to side. These can be done on their own as a mobility exercise. I also do these as part of warming up in my own training. So hopefully you've got enough exercises there that wherever you're at, it will bring you to the next level. Ultimately, remember, you want to get to a point where you're not just doing regular press-ups. You need to be able to increase the load. We're always looking to improve and to progress. So we want to get to the point where we can push the body into the air while landing, and then eventually throw the whole body into the air and land with control. You want to keep developing. So wherever you are, that's where your instructor will meet you. They will meet you where you're at and bring you to the next level. And just remember, you can bring yourself further than you ever thought possible, as long as you keep training and keep trying to improve. That's it for today. Let's bow out. Cheerio. Kyungye. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.